Hi, Wealth Builders. Welcome back to another episode of Sweet Millionaire Formula, the weekly show where we bring together individuals seeking to break the cycle of financial inequality by building generational wealth. I'm your host, Courtney Davis, two-time best-selling author and CEO of Sweet Millionaire Formula. For more information, please follow us on Instagram and to keep up with our webinars and in-person activities. This is going to be another exciting episode, but first, a word from our sponsors. Are you looking for your skin to glow this summer with a hydrating moisturizer that protects against UV rays? Well, Spa Weekend has the perfect item for you. Our new hydrating moisturizer gives you a hydrating skin moisturization that lasts all day. It's lightweight, non-greasy, and perfect for everyday use. When you get out the pool, you're going out to eat, you want to have that moisture and glow to your face, you will use our moisturizer at Spa Weekend Cosmetics. Guess what, Wealth Builders? Build Generational Wealth Period is released on Amazon. Sweet Millionaire Formula has produced its first book and its #1 best-selling. Build Generational Wealth is available now on Amazon. Tired of just hearing how to build wealth and want to know the actual steps? Well, we have the 12 steps to secure your financial future. It's available now on Amazon. Build Generational Wealth. Period. Welcome back, Wealth Builders, to another episode of Sweet Millionaire Formula. I am super excited about today's episode because I know the fees that are always on attack when you check cashing, when you're trying to pay a bill, when you're trying to take money out of your debit card. All of those issues that come up and all of those fees that are being paid when you cash your check at an Ace or a Walmart or a Target, all of those fees that you have to pay to take your money out of an ATM, they add up. And do you know that those are the fees that you can use to build wealth? I bet you didn't know that. But now you do. Very often, we do not do what is necessary to get out of the next level because of fear. But it's a paradox. Your fear of losing money is keeping you from your ability to actually grow your money. When we fear not having enough money or not knowing what to do with the money we have, we put off important decisions until we are forced to make a change. We are more likely to, defer important decisions until something bad happens. When your tire blows out, when your water tank breaks, that's when you want to have the red alarm go off in your head that, oh, I should have some money saved, or oh, I should be able to pay for this. But if you don't have an emergency fund, if you're not funding a high yield savings account, if you don't have any bonds set aside that are accruing interest, no EFTs, those are your sources of having liquid cash on demand without having to fear about an emergency coming up, without you not being able to handle the situation with being prepared with your finances and being comfortable enough to know that life does throw us curves and we do go through situations that cause us to, feel like I'm not going to make it. I did not expect this to happen. But when you fear and you put off the very important decisions with your money until something bad happens, then it's too late. I know for me personally, one of the things that really stuck out to me, especially when I was like 24 and 25, was that I could never get an apartment because my credit score was so low. And here at Sweet Millionaire Formula, we preach credit. We understand how leveraging our credit can basically fuel our businesses and us being able to be the owner and CEO of our lives. Because when you're able to use your credit score to leverage credit cards, you want a credit card come up, baby. And I am so thankful that I took building wealth serious. Most of y'all listening, but I want to know that you are taking it serious. And I want to know that you have the literacy and the knowledge to take it serious. And so it's like, as women, we tend to be embarrassed that we don't understand finances better. It makes sense too, though, because when we turn to television or news programs, the financial experts are usually men. Where are the women speaking as financial authorities? We might think finances aren't for us because we don't see us, but this is why it's important to become a part of a community like Sweet Millionaire Formula that talks about money in an acceptable manner. Women need a safe space to talk about money issues. And we have the perfect community here at Sweet Millionaire Formula. Although we have to support each other and lift each other up. That is what you need sometimes when you don't have a clear roadmap of what goals and financial goals you should be planning towards. What credit score should you be planning towards? How much of your savings per week should you be planning towards your new goals, your new ventures, your new supplies, your new equipment, your new camera? All of those things, as far as finances work, it takes a strategic plan. And if you think that you're going to be able to continue to put off putting in a strategic financial plan for your money to grow automatically, then it's going to cost you a lifetime. It's going to cost your children a lifetime. It's going to cost their children a lifetime of debt, sadness, depression, bad things happening, them not being prepared for life, them turning to drugs and criminal activities to be able to support themselves. Because if you don't have a job and if you don't have money, the next thing is to become a criminal, to be able to suffice for financial gains. But we know here at Sweet Millionaire Formula that we're going to change our mindset. You're going to write down affirmations today. Affirmations like, I can attain wealth for my family. Affirmations like, I will acquire wealth for my family, no matter what it looks like now. I know that I can achieve all of my dreams. I am the head and not the tail. God can do all things. Through Christ Jesus, all things are possible. When you start to reiterate these amazing affirmations to yourself and you start to let your subconscious mind absorb the positive that comes from these affirmations, then your heart, soul, spirit, and mindset, your prayers, your outlook, your conversations, everything starts to change when you decide that, you know what, I am worthy of building wealth. Why am I not worthy of building wealth? And when you start to surround yourself with people who are pouring into you. But most importantly, the change that you're going to see in your finances comes from you making automatic and intentional changes, guys. One of the most important aspects of finances is a plan and a action step. So while you're listening to Sweet Millionaire Formula, I also suggest that you keep a journal of what financial goals you're trying to reach. Because if you're trying to reach a financial goal of, in the next 20 years, you want to have, I would say, $100,000 in liquid cash in the next 10 years. You want to have $15,000 saved for your child's education fund when they're ready to go to college or when they're ready to invest into their dreams or whatever the case. You have to set goals that are bigger than just buying a purse, just going to a concert, or just going out of town. You're at an age where you have to be responsible. Your name has to hold weight for your children. You have to be able to put your children on your credit cards because they need to be authorized users starting at age 1. Because in 18 years, if they can have an 18-year credit history of great credit, and that makes you responsible for their credit. When you put your child on your name, you are responsible to not only carry the weight of your name, but you're also knowing that you're putting them on your account because you are carrying the weight of what it would take them to build a lifetime, all their 20s, all their 30s and 40s. You're doing it in the first 18 years of their life, which allows them to be set up for financial freedom and financial stability because they're able to get LLCs in their name. They're able to buy cars in their name because they have an 800 credit score. And I believe that being intentional and taking the steps to build our children up is the whole purpose of building generational wealth. And if you don't build generational wealth for your children, you can build it up for your nieces, your nephews, and so on and so on, whoever you deem necessary to build and pass generational wealth to. Because even if they're not your biological children, they can still benefit from the financial institutions that pour into them. Credit unions is a big financial institution that many people need to take advantage of. There's credit unions, there's teacher credit unions, there's firefighter credit unions, there's Navy Federal Credit Union, there's the research, you can do research on your own credit union, but having your money in a credit union is basically like a nonprofit. A credit union is a nonprofit. Their business is you. And whatever benefits and pros and cons that comes with having a credit union, you do your due diligence and you see where it benefits you, and wherever it can benefit you, you park some of your money there, and so that that money can build seamlessly and automatically without you having to continue to feel responsible about touching it and looking at it. Sometimes when you set your money aside, you need to kind of set it and forget it because That is the difference between, again, building generational wealth or being in poverty. Again, here as We Millionaire Formula, we don't necessarily look at poverty necessarily just or a hood or a poverty as a low income community. Poverty is not being able to use your name to leverage a lifestyle that you want. If you're going somewhere and you cannot use your name, you cannot sign your name, or you cannot get approved with your name, that is living in poverty because you're cutting your life off from being able to live in the fullness that God has called you to, in the fullness of being able to help somebody else be a blessing because you're not taking your gifts, your name seriously that you have. And I believe that it's super important that when it comes to money, you don't always have to be perfect. You just have to get it right more times than you get it wrong. Like, what does the next level look like? Once you increase your understanding of how money works, you need to know what to do with it. You need to know what's your next level, what's the energy and enthusiasm and the vigor around reaching new financial goals. And that's what we're here to talk about today. So, without further ado, let's get into our topics for today. Our topics for today include being unbanked, being underbanked, the fear of using banks, minimizing your fees and maximizing your relationship with a financial institution, and how the difference between education and being uneducated, really plays out in the long run for the trajectory of your family. Um, so let's get into the first topic: being unbanked. Does the audience know what being unbanked is? If you do know what being unbanked is, can you please leave it in the comments? Leave your unbanked statements in the comments. If you believe you know what unbanked is, please leave it in the comments. But let's get into what unbanked is. Unbanked is having no financial institution to back your money. And a financial institution that backs your money is a financial institution with the FDIC. These individuals are usually Black or Hispanic and low education, and these individuals don't usually use banks to make transitions happen, such as paying their bills or such as cashing their checks. So they're more likely to be paying higher fees for services that would be low cost or free if you're using a bank institution. Now, I believe you are a reflection of what you see in your household. So if you have a child in your house right now that's 18 years old that's saying, well, I don't know how to work this money because you never showed me. Think back. Did you ever show them a checking account? Did you ever show them or tell them what fees are for checking and paying checks? Or did you just cash your checks, pay your bills, and just pay the fees and never even thought about explaining or questioning why are you paying $4.99 to cash a check? Why are you paying, if you already worked all this time to earn the money, why are you going and spending $26 cashing your check? Why is it that every time you swipe at the the ATMT is taking $3.99 out of your account, and your bank is also taking $3.99 out of your account. So that's $8 every single time that you want to take out money from your account that is being taken from your account. How many times a month do you use the ATM machine? Do you know how many fees, how much these fees are, and how much they're adding up to? And I want you to really look at that because the difference between you being able to invest may be a small decision of you stopping cashing your checks at the check cashing mark and being able to cash your check at the bank institution that allows you to do it automatically with no fees, that has it already set up in the tools for you to be able to pay your bills, to be able to have the money come out of your accounts automatically. Being able to live your life on automatic, it is probably the best thing since sliced bread. I cannot express to you how much easier my life has become because my bills are automatically like paid. They come out automatically. I don't have to. Now what I do have, I have a weekly expenses sheet. I have a monthly budget, and I have a goals planning sheet. So if I know in a year this is what's coming up and this is what I'm planning to do. I'm planning to have 500 books at the Essence Fest, and I'm trying to go to the Essence Fest and set up a table next year. Okay, I know that costs me at least $6,000. So I'm going to be able, because my bills are automatically on auto pay, I'm going to be able to set aside and live according to my budget and put money aside automatically for my plans because I can see where my money is going. My money, I'm not cashing my check at an Ace. Yeah, I'm not going to Walmart. I'm not wasting my time in these quick stops that are taking out astronomical fees because I don't have a bank institution, because I'm not strong enough to be confident enough to go find out what it is that I don't know. These banks are have people there. These banks have personal bank tellers there. Make relationships with your bank tellers. Make relationships with your credit union. These are the institutions that have your money. These are the institutions that prepare you for retirement. These are the institutions that hold your children's education funds. These are the institutions that hold your IRAs. You need to be knowing who every single person, every banker is that can help you. You need to know the bankers because for lack of relationship with your banks, that's probably what's also keeping you from really reaching a level of maximizing your finances as well, is because you don't have a relationship with anybody at a bank. And so you go unbanked, which keeps your money wrapped up in fees, what keeps you living in poverty. It's according to the National Survey of Unbanked and Underbanked Households, 16.9% of Black households are unbanked. If the head of the household is unbanked, the mom or the dad, if the children, the teenagers are working jobs, 15, 16, 17, they're working at Auntie Annie's, pretzel places, whatever the case, and they're bringing in money that is on a vanilla prepaid card, then they're underbanked. If you don't have a savings, checkings, and high yield savings and emergency fund, that is going to be represented as unbanked because you don't have the vehicles that are already in place to move your money and keep your money moving. You don't have those in place, and so that you're basically leaving your money to be taken in fees because you don't have a structure in place to be banked and to be out of the predatory system of the check cashing industry, right? And so when you pay your utility bill in a bank scenario, an individual can use their bank's bill pay feature in the bill pay with the touch of a button. An unbanked individual might have to go to a check cashing store and have to pay a bill there for a fee, right? So the underbanked have a financial institution, but they still don't have the relationship with their um, banking, and so they're using outside establishments like check cashing stores to make financial transactions. And this also includes paying bills in cash. As you can see, if you are a person of color without formal education or an unmarried woman in the same demographic, you might be at risk for either being unbanked or underbanked. This is all the reality. Coming out of high school, I never even heard of having a bank account. I had no access to my own money besides me working summer jobs and cashing those checks at check cashing facilities. But I never had any check checking account growing up. And one thing that I do with my daughter, because of all the failures that I learned from my parents, I am super meticulous about what my daughter knows and what she is able to relay back to me so that I understand that she understands what I'm teaching her with her money and what I'm teaching her with her savings and checkers account. And so my daughter, she's 9 years old. She's added to added to my credit account, and she also has her own savings account, and she also has her own IRA account. She also has her own education account. And I believe that these accounts are necessary for your children because had I had these accounts growing up, I wouldn't have had to start college at 18 years old without any dividends from my stocks. Dividends from stocks are what can fuel and build compounding interest in a fidelity account. A fidelity account is a brokerage account where your stocks, bonds, EFTs, mutual funds are all stored as used as vehicles to prop you up for whatever your financial goals are. Again, we'll get back to that in another episode. But when you're underbanked, that means that you are still not using your bank for the features that it has, for most of our banks have apps. And on those apps, if you do a little bit more clicking, if you do a little bit more searching, if you do a little bit more research, I promise you, you'll find tools in there for education. You'll find tools in there for money management, and you'll find tools for budgeting. All of the things that you need to become responsible and stop shying away from saying that you don't know how to build financial literacy. You don't know how to build generational wealth. These small steps that you take from check cashing places and not cashing them anymore, or you having an AT&T card or prepaid cards, green dot cards, whatever, if it's not an official credit union or a bank, then you're underbanked. And some of these banks, I can say, Chime being one of them, Chime is probably one of the best online banks because they have really great tools. They have ways for you to upload and receive your money. They have all these great benefits, and I don't mind Chime. And they have a pretty good advantage as far as a high yield savings account as well. Chime is probably one of the institutions that I would highly suggest if you don't have a actual financial institution, then you should get a Chime account. Because Chime has a feature where they can help you build your credit by making on-time credit card payments, and they give you a self-builder credit card. So I like Chime. I would definitely suggest Chime as a source if you're unbanked. If you're underbanked, I would suggest you get with a financial institution that has an FDIC backing that can back your money up if you are going to put your money into these institutions and have an IRA account, if you're going to have an educational fund, if you're going to have a retirement account, savings, checkings, and high yields accounts. Putting your money into a financial institution that's backed by FDIC is your best bet because these are the financial institutions that already have the vehicles in place for you to use your smallest amounts of cash. I don't care if it's $20 extra, if it's $15 extra. Once you start to put these monies into accounts that accrue interest, compounded over time, that's when you start to see the benefits of your money and how you putting your money in these vehicles work. And I would even suggest you guys call and set up an appointment with your local banker to discuss and really discuss what are the benefits of banking with them, what does it look like for you to bank with them long term, and what does it look like for you to add your children to your account with these people. Now, what I would suggest is a credit union over a financial institution any day. I love credit. I love Navy Federal to the top of from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. Navy Federal is a life-changing institution, financial institution. It's life changing. It is liberating. It is the one credit union that for the life of me, almost like I think since I was 18 years old, I've heard the name Navy Federal thrown around here and there, and nobody could get into Navy Federal. So it's always like this secret society of being in Navy Federal, and now I kind of understand why I heard about Navy Federal all of my life. But the fact that I'm finally in Navy Federal is super eye-opening to the benefits of having a financial institution that cares about your money. It cares about your understanding. It cares about your plans and how to get you to those plans. And I love the fact that I can set up meetings to discuss my IRA account and the trajectory of my IRA account. I love that I can set up funds with Navy Federal that allow me to have a high yield savings account for my business, high yield savings account for my finances. And all of the benefits of a high yield savings account come because they accrue interest over time. When you have a bank institution that accrues interest, that benefits you for putting your money there, those are the institutions that you want to be with when you want to be banked and you want to be financially confident. You want to be a part of a relationship building bank. You want to be a part of a bank where you can ask questions, and you don't want to continue to put yourself in a financial situation that allow fees to take out portions of your money that can be used for building wealth. And I believe that the difference between, I don't know, having a financial institution that cares about you and one that you don't have a relationship with is the difference between letting your money get filled up with a bucket with no holes and a bucket that has holes in it. And it's like you want to be the person on the side of the wealth building game that is financially literate, that is financially confident, and that's financially strong and solid. And you can also surround yourself with people who are um, moving in a direction that's evolutionary. Not the people that are still wasting your time, the people that are still don't have any goals, the people who haven't fixed their credit. You want to be on the other side of the financial um, freedom that comes with financial literacy and putting into place a strategic plan that allows you to build generational wealth, right? And so I also want you guys to, I want to mention this again. Build generational wealth, period. 12 steps to secure your financial future is available on Amazon. Get a copy of this book and y'all sit down with your family and y'all really discuss with a roadmap how you're going to build generational wealth. And listen, building generational wealth takes time. Wealth is about what you keep, not about what you spend. So when you have in a mindset that, oh, we're talking about building generational wealth, well, hi, I want to do it on my day to day. The first thing you can do for your day to day is a deep financial cleanse. And I want you to do this. I want you to get an envelope, 12 envelopes, or 6 months left in the year. So get 6 envelopes, and I want you to keep every single receipt and see where your money is going. Every time that you spend money during the day, I want you to keep that receipt. If you can't keep the receipt, look on your phone and go back to transactions and write every single thing down on the envelope. We'll break it down into categories like food, entertainment, um, miscellaneous, beauty supply products, Amazon, Walmart, whatever those categories that you deem that you shop at. Break that envelope down into all those categories. On the front of that envelope, I want you to write down how much money you spent last month on this. How much money did you spend in this category? Write all your categories down and how much you spent on each and every category. Once you can see what you spent in each and every category, find the category that is the category that you can hold onto that allows you to start to invest your money into a proper financial institution in a bank that cares about you and you care to build a relationship with them. Once you have that amount of money that you can use or set aside, whatever case, open up a self builder credit card. I'm going to say that again. Open up a self builder credit card. It can be with self, which is SELF credit builder, or it can be with Bank of America. It can be with Key Bank. Whatever bank that you're surrounded by, they're going to ask you for a minimum of $200 to $500 down. And I believe that if you can find a plan for you to have the $200 down, you'll be more likely to open up a builder credit card, which allows you to basically put your own money on the line, pay yourself back each and every month, and build your credit. Because I feel like one of the most important things that you should do with your financial institution is to build your credit and build positive relationships with them. Building a positive relationship with a bank is things like cash advances, paying them back on time, things like opening up a credit card, lines of credit, um, high yield savings accounts, cash bonds, certificates of deposits. All of these are positive ways to build your credit, positive ways to build a relationship with the bank. And breaking it down this way, I'm hoping that you're understanding that this is how you build a relationship with the bank, with your money. You build a relationship with the bank with your money. You build a relationship with a bank by building confidence and asking questions. And then you build a relationship with your finances by having a strategic plan. You don't have to plan 20 years out. But if you can start to plan for 5 and 10 years out, where you see your money at, where you see your money growing, then that's the difference between you continuing to be underbanked and underserved by your bank and you standing up for yourself and saying, wait a minute, I want to know in 10 years, if I leave my money in this account at 0.01%, how much, where do I get any savings? Where do I get any benefit from banking with this bank? Versus a credit union where you can get 4% APY on your on your cash deposits and being able to build wealth that way. Fidelity has a card where you all of your cash back from your credit cards can be deposited into a dividend system that allows you to accrue interest and build interest on your name. It is super important that the benefits of properly saving your money allows you to have a savings fund. It cuts out the fees and unnecessary holes in your bucket. It grows your confidence in being a in finance and it grows your confidence in financing with a bank. And I believe that when you're underbanked and you're underserved, it's because you are shying away from and putting off the action steps that are needed for you to grow confidence in your bank, the action steps that are needed for you to grow confidence in your finances. You have to make up in your mind that you will not shy away from building up your finances, that you will have savings accounts and you will track your progress because you tracking your progress is on you being a responsible adult. Nobody is going to come in to see if you are taking these steps. But I can tell you and I can assure you that when your children turn 18 and they need to depend on their own name or they need to depend on your name and you don't have anything for them, I can tell you how much distraught, how much anguish, how much sadness will be in your child's life, how much hardships they're going to have to go through when they are not properly set up. You gaining the confidence and knowledge to properly set up your finances is a responsible thing to do as an adult because you save a generation coming up under you from degradation, from backbiting each other into, oh, you didn't pay this, or you don't have my money. It can be so much easier with a strategic plan. You can write out your own goals. You can decide, just like you can decide to be in a relationship, take a trip, where you want to shop at, what you want that outfit to look like, and you have all the details. That is the same way that you need to go after your money and put in a framework and skeletal system for your money. Because once it starts like a skeleton with no bones, then it'll grow into as more money and more layers that you add to your finances. That is where you'll start to see your money really benefit you and really compliment you, right? I'm super excited, guys. I hope that you got some information that was insightful for you today. And one of the highlights of today is Miss Sheena Allen. Sheena Allen is the founder of Capway Bank, and she's the Forbes 30 under, let me get that right. Forbes 30 under 30. And Miss Sheena, she basically is letting you guys know that she created her bank systems to close the financial disparities and create financial equality in the African American community. Because again, the same things I'm talking about, us losing money to fees and not being able to have clear and proper resources to build wealth and all these different things. Capway Bank is the bank that she started to close the wealth gap and create equality. And I'm super thankful for her because I was listening to Miss Sheila Johnson, and Sheila Johnson, if you guys don't know, is the co-founder of BET, but she started this um collection called Salamander Collection, and it's all across the world. And she was rated #1 best in hospitality by Forbes. And I was just reading her story, and I stumbled upon Sheena Allison, and so I'm super inspired by all of these Black women doing these amazing things, and I want us to make sure that we are aiming way past the goalposts. We serve a God who can do exceedingly above what we can ask or think. And when we shoot past the goalposts, baby, he's shooting past the stars. And so he's going to help us and enable us past the stars to get these amazing things done that we can dream of. And so I want you guys to, this week in particular, dream past the minimum. Dream and write your goals past whatever your finances look like. I don't care if you have $0 in your bank account. Write down, if this is your personal goal and this is what you believe that can happen for you and you serve a God that can do this, I will earn $1 million within the next 5 years. Write it down. Write that goal down and see how you start to live your life and live your goals and put yourself into an organized environment that allows you to strategically make it happen. Whatever you speak out of your mouth is liable to happen for you. So you have to big yourself up. Give yourself a pat on the back and let yourself know, like, we're going to accomplish generational wealth, and we are not stopping until it happens for our children's children, right? Yes. Right. So I want to highlight a few of our Q&A. Guys, at the end of each episode, we love when you leave our Q&A, when you leave questions, because we answer them on the next episode. And guess what? You get a shout out. You get to be acknowledged. Your question gets to be answered on the podcast live. So I love if you leave your questions and answers. I don't care what financial questions you have, what questions you have about building wealth. Leave them here on Sweet Millionaire Formula. This is a podcast and this is the community where we break financial inequality and build each other up by breaking the curse of generational wealth and building the wealth that we need to have. So I want to hear all about your questions. But from my questions that we have from my episode from last week, a big difference between us. It says, "Hi, Sweet Millionaire Formula. I wanted to know, I'm 18 years old. What steps should I take to becoming or building generational wealth right now?" Oh, I love that. I love that question at 18 years old. What should you be doing to build generational wealth? Because this podcast is showing young adults how to harness their financial literacy and be able to stand out and not make the same mistakes of their parents. And so, what you could be doing at 18 years old is you can be starting a side hustle. Your side hustle can fuel your ability to get you a self builder card, which is a SELF, a self builder card, which helps you build your credit score from 18 to 18 into building your credit score where you need it to be. So I would suggest you using and creating a side hustle out of your hobbies to build generational wealth and invest into you building a self builder credit card, right? So let's summarize some of our topics from today. It is being unbanked will cost you in fees. Being underbanked, you need to build a relationship with your bank. You got to minimize your fees and maximize your relationship with your financial institution. Thank you guys for another episode of Sweet Millionaire Formula. See you next week. Hey, wealth builders. If you're following us, please follow us on Sweet Millionaire Formula. Like, comment, and subscribe and share. Follow us on Spotify. Please click that follow button. This is how we continue to monetize and spread this amazing knowledge to the rest of the world. Follow us and like, comment, and subscribe. And guess what? You can share this with your friend and let them know how to become financially literate. All right? Thank you guys. And again, we'll see you on the next episode of Sweet Millionaire Formula. Keep building that wealth.